So I started this revolution 20 years ago called Overgrow the Government, and I was going to sell lots of seeds and use all this money, and yes, indeed, it came to pass, and now I'm the #1 drug trafficking kingpin in all of Canada, and the most I have ever done is pass 1 joint. So you have to understand, how could this happen? How could this hyperbole be seriously uttered by the Justice Department? The U.S. Attorney General, Alberto Gonzales, actually had me on his list. In fact, when I got arrested by DEA and RCMP officers in July 2005, there was a press conference by the District Attorney of Washington, and he had a map of the United States on the wall with all 50 states. And there was a cannabis leaf on them, and his announcement was, Marc Emery had tentacles in all 50 of the United States. And there was an arrow coming down from Vancouver into those states, like I'm the Viet Cong on the Ho Chi Minh Trail, infiltrating. And I thought, that's incredible. I felt incredibly flattered. All of a sudden, because what was I trying to do? Overgrow the government. And what was he saying? He has tentacles in all 50 states. And you know what that tentacle is? It's the truth, because it's the only thing that sticks. Because it was just me. And the U.S. Postal Service. My gang was the U.S. Postal Service. I'm the only guy I've got a gang in blue-gray serge walking door to door. And they know where you live, you know? Yeah.
That's great.
It's crazy. On the same day, the head of the DEA. I mean, it was like a big gang up on the Prince of Pot. By the way, when I was arrested, it said, wanted for extradition to the United States, Marc Scott Emery, a.k.a. the Prince of Pot. And I was thinking, well, why would they put that there? Why would they put Prince of Pot there? I mean, it's not like, you know, oh, anybody see Marc Emery? No? Okay, anybody see the Prince of Pot? Like, I mean, what is that there for? A.k.a. the Prince of Pot. Now, I love that term. That was given to me by CNN in 1997. I've been the Prince of Pot for like 12 years now. And a special they did on me. They said, CNN visits Canada's Prince of Pot, Marc Emery. And it was a wonderful segment. And like everything else that was ever videotaped in the universe, now you can see it on YouTube or a Pot TV. But certainly on YouTube, there's lots of videos about me there that I encourage you to check out. The head of the DEA said, in her press release, she said, Marc Emery and his propagandist marijuana magazine. Imagine the government calling my little 60,000 circulation magazine a propagandist magazine. I mean, it's fantastic because, of course, from their perspective, an institution that only lies, only uses violence, only uses coercion, that's all government's about. Government is the monopoly of the use of force. And the only thing force can be used again by a government is you, the people. So when they call my magazine a propagandist magazine, that's the greatest compliment I could ever get. Because they are the architects of evil. They're responsible for the drug war. That's, in Canada alone, we have 2 million Canadians convicted of a cannabis offense in 45 years. You know, that's 3 generations, 45 years, 2 million Canadians. And the funny thing is, it's bizarre because I often ask people, well, you know what, that costs billions of dollars. It costs $50,000 to $70,000 just to house an inmate in any Canadian prison for 1 year. You can actually send a prisoner to the best university in this country for less money than it takes to imprison them in the worst jail. And yet, we've got 2 million Canadians who've been convicted. Over 500,000 Canadians spent some time in jail for a marijuana offense. Cultivating, growing, selling, money laundering. You can get your house, if you grow marijuana plants, forfeited. They can take away your house. They can take away your children if you grow marijuana. You can lose your job for sure. And once you've got a marijuana conviction, even as small as a few grams, you're not traveling to the United States. You can't get bonded. You can't be a trucker. You can't be a banker. You can't be a teacher. You can't be a security guard. You can't be a lot of things if you've just got that little tiny marijuana conviction. You can't go to a U.S. university. You won't be able to join any multinational company as an employee that does business with the United States. Your life is entirely compromised by ingesting the greatest substance on earth. Here's the twisted thing. If you're a rapist, you don't lose your house. If you murder someone, you don't lose your kids. If you're actually a menace to the community, you don't lose your house. You don't lose your kids. You may not even, I mean, it's incredible. It's just cannabis. But then I thought, well, if it's, there must be some secret to this, because I've been doing this for 20 years. And as I said, I've been jailed 17 times. I'm sought out as the #1 drug lord in all of Canada. I'm the biggest threat to the United States of anybody in Canada. And it's all about marijuana. Now, here's the thing. My dad once told me, Mark, the people who owe you the most, who you've been the nicest to, will often be resentful and hurtful to the degree that they spurn you. They actually reject you because of how nice you've been to them. I said, but that doesn't make sense, Dad. And he says, well, I know it won't make sense to you, son, but he saw in me a really good instinct. I wanted to help people at a very young age. He said, sometimes you can do too much for people. Sometimes you just be too nice and they'll resent it. And they'll behave in a manner that you just don't comprehend because they're bitter and they can't balance the scales of your goodness versus their willingness to take what you offer. And I think that's the way it is with the world. Because you know what? The straight people in this world, the marijuana prohibitionists, the people who want to ban it, owe marijuana people the most amazing debt of thanks that they could possibly. It's just unbelievable how much straight people owe the marijuana people in this world. It's a debt that cannot ever be paid, and we're not asking for anything at all in the first place. All we'd like is a little respect, because when you consider, and I'm going to explain to you, every single thing that you value in today's society was invented or developed by a pothead. Everything, without exception, everything you love is by a pothead. For example, if you've got an iPod in your pocket or an iPhone, that was developed by Stephen Jobs, and he was a total pothead when he came out with Mac computers. And Bill Gates and Paul Allen, the founders of Microsoft, were total potheads when they came up with the Microsoft operating system. And Paul Allen is still a total pothead. Anybody who'd spend $55 million on the Jimi Hendrix Experience in Seattle is a total pothead. He's still a total pothead. So here we have the computer systems that everybody in North America uses, inspired directly by the use of pot. That iPod you have in your pocket, not only was it inspired as an invention, a development by someone who was a total pothead, but every single song of any value in that iPod was done by a pothead. Everyone. You know what? And it's funny, there's a lot of, the most universally beloved activity, sport, thing you could eat, of all the things in the world, the most popular thing on earth is music. We all know a song in our hearts. We all were taught to sing when we were young. We all have lots of. Many of you have thousands of songs you love. Many of you have iPods with thousands of songs on it. Think about that. Now, I'm thinking that when I talked to Prohibition, I said, since you're against marijuana and you'd like to see those people jailed, and you elect governments that hunt us down mercilessly like dogs, and we are hunted down like dogs everywhere on earth. There's 250,000 people in the jails of this planet there for just marijuana right now. There's 2,000 people like that in Canada, and there's 70,000 Americans in jail just for growing, selling, possessing marijuana.